Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Hi, Kanishka. What happened? You're not taking part for the meeting. Okay, so here's the meeting being transferred from one beauty to one heavy duty beauty. So I welcome you all today for the 251 number meeting of Capital City Toastmasters. How are you doing? Can I hear a round applause?
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Come on, you guys. I welcome everyone, all the members and the guests. Okay, so let me introduce the basic rules on which our CCT is based. Capital City Toastmasters is set up under the aegis of the Toastmaster International. Toastmaster International is a non-profit educational organization that teaches the public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. The mission statement of Toastmaster International is to empower individuals to become more effective and communicators, leaders. And to achieve this, there are 4 core values that has been done up by the Toastmaster International, which are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Here at CCT, our club mission statement is to provide a positive and supportive learning experience to our members, which empowers them to develop communication and leadership skills. As a result, they achieve greater self-confidence and personal growth. Now, there are few rules that ensure the healthy conduct of the meeting, which are, first, please refrain yourself from talking about the controversial topics such as caste, sex, gender, and politics. Second, do not change your screen. Third, keep your video on as it will give the speaker the required visual feedback, and keep your microphone off as it may disturb the speaker with your background noise. Now, without a further ado, I would like to introduce to our one of my most brilliant speaker, a dynamic leader, and a very handsome man who's a great chef who goes from green tea to hot chocolate very fast. Let me welcome to you none other than the president of our club, Abhijit.
Thank you, Neha, for these kind words and bringing the energy to the club. Thanks a lot. Let me start with the guest introduction. I would like to ask guest Darshan to introduce yourself and tell us how you got to know about Capital City Toastmasters.
Yeah, I am Darshan Dar. I work for Haryana government and just adjacent Himachal Bhavan. My posting is in Haryana Bhavan at Copernicus Marg. And one of my friends told me about Toastmasters.
Oh, thanks, Dash. Now, can I ask guest Ryan to introduce yourself and tell us how did you know about Capital City?
Yeah, hi. So this is my second meeting over here. I got to know about like 1 year back about this club, and I'm really fortunate to join you guys over here. I've recently graduated and I'm doing startup. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. I would request guest Disha to please introduce yourself and tell us how did you know about Capital City Toastmasters.
Thank you, Abhijit. So I'm Disha. I recently graduated. I completed my engineering and now I'm working at a firm as a software developer. So I got to know about Toastmasters from one of my friends, and I really want to improve my communication skills and leadership skills and build some self-confidence. So that's why I'm looking forward to joining Toastmasters.
Thanks, Disha. Now, can I ask guest Shravanti to please kindly introduce herself and talk about how you got to know about Capital City?
Hi, this is Shravanti, and I just completed graduation and I started working as a software developer. So I'm posted in Gurgaon, but my hometown is in Andhra Pradesh, which I'm currently in. So I got to know about Toastmasters when I was in my college. I always wanted to join, but did not. So I'm planning to join now. Yeah.
Thanks, guest Shravanti. And lastly, guest Charu. I would request you to introduce yourself and tell us how did you know about Capital City Toastmasters.
Hi, thank you, Abhijit. I just finished my bachelor's of management studies
and now I'm working as an analyst. And I got to know about Toastmasters from my sister's friend.
Great. Thank you, Charu. So just wanted to confirm, is there any more guests in here today in the room? I think I've covered all of them. So
how about Rajat? Rajat is a guest from another Toastmasters, I think.
Rajat, hi Rajat. I would request if you can introduce yourself.
He's not a guest.
Rajat, I would request you to introduce yourself.
He's not a guest.
Hi. Yeah, I'm not from this club, but I'm your role holder today. I'm the general evaluator for today's meeting. And this is the third time I believe I'm attending Capital City Toastmasters. And I would like to thank Pragya for inviting me to do the role of general evaluator for the day. And I really like the atmosphere and vibe this club provides. I've been a keen observer, but since I had exams for the past couple of months, I've not been able to attend any Toastmaster meeting as of all. So I'm glad to join you guys, and I want to congratulate all the new office bearers as well, especially Abhijit. I'm constantly in touch with Srishti as well, so I get to know about you guys, especially Abhijit, Pragya, and so on. So yeah, hoping to have a good time. Over to you.
Thanks. I certainly hope so. Thanks. So moving on. So last week, one of the best clubs in Central Delhi had a milestone celebration meeting. That is meeting number 250. We all know that the club has been there for quite some time. Capital City Toastmaster was set up on 13th August 2016, and it has glorious 5 years on its belt. So I would want to address the elephant in the room. I know when I say that, I'm seeing few people grinning and looking at me. So let me tell you, you guys have guessed it wrong. I'm not talking about myself. So every time we had roast masters in our celebration meetings, there has been instances that the few members have got offended, as the role of roast master dictates them to have freedom of creative liberty. But at times there has been occasion where the line is crossed that shouldn't have been crossed. In stand-up comedy, there's a concept of hitting up rather than hitting down. Hitting up is when you hit someone who is rich and successful, like Mukesh Ambani. You can make fun of him. It really does not matter. But you do not make fun of people who are, like, for example, have some disability, right? For example, I am bald, right? And to answer the question the Roastmasters had the other day, yes, every time I wash my face, since there is no distinction between where my face ends, I end up taking a bath. So coming back, I would like to recognize that there were some instances where that happened, hitting down happened. We at Capital City Toastmaster, we have a club mission statement, as very rightly Acting Sergeant at Arms Neha said. The mission statement is to provide positive, supportive learning experience to our members, which empowers them to develop communication leadership skills. As a result, they achieve greater self-confidence and personal growth. I would like to highlight the fact to achieve greater self-confidence and personal growth. So the point that I'm making here is that there were few instances that the mission statement of club and the 4 core values laid by Toastmaster International, that is respect, integrity, service, and excellence, were disregarded. Now, I have been part of this club. I joined this club when the meeting number meeting was in 160s onwards, and I have had the fortune of attending celebration meetings number 175, 200, 225. Celebration meetings in which Roastmasters have been the main celebrating event, where the nuance has been to break barriers of the club standards of being a sophisticated and take an opportunity to break that barrier. In discussion with few of the club members, I could get a sense that the similarity that can be drawn from Roastmasters to a festival would be something similar to the Festival of Colors, that is Holi, or Tomatina festivals, where one takes the liberty to play with fellow companions which you would not do otherwise. As in, you cannot take a handful of colors and run behind your neighbor. They might charge you for some section in IPC. So in conclusion, I would like to say that as we mature into a more mature club, I would request all members to look at the nuances in which these celebrations are done. Or to say it in colloquial terms, on second day of Holi, please do not wear new clothes, or rather just wear old clothes. I do have an advice going forward for the roast masters. That is, prior to roasting a certain members, I would request them to take permission from them before roasting them. Because I remember when I had asked Toastmaster Arpit and Toastmaster Swasti if they can take the role of roast masters, they both said that they would rather get roasted than be the roast masters. Now that's my 2 cents for today. I, President of Capital City Toastmasters, initiate the meeting number 251. Now, without further ado, I would like to call one of the most brilliant speaker, as Neha had already pointed out, to the stage as Toastmaster of the day, Abhijit Singh, Toastmaster Abhijit Singh. Let me take off my suit because it's getting very warm here.
Woo!
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit, for giving me the stage. So here I am. I'm going to take you, my aim today is to take you on a journey. I want to take you on a journey on Indian Railways for a train ride. As you guys might have done it in your childhood days, as nowadays we would rather take a flight than a train. So let me narrate a story to you. It was 24th August 2019. Yes, this was before Corona had just hit. So on 24th August, on a morning, I get a call from my ex-colleagues, the people who worked in my previous organization, saying that they are in Jaipur and their client meeting got extended. So they were supposed to come back to Delhi on Saturday, but now they have to stay over on a Sunday and they will be coming back on Monday. So they asked me if I would be interested in coming to Jaipur. And guess what? I decided, yes, I will. And I booked myself the first ticket that I could see for Jaipur. And let me share my screen. I booked a double-decker train from Delhi to Jaipur. The train was 12985. And for the people who are, this is how the train looks like. This is how the train looks like. Now, all excited, I packed my bags. Since I had to pack all the, since it was a day journey, all I had to do was pick some clothes, get all the toiletries and my phone charger. I pack my bag, I take a rickshaw to the station, I reach station and I'm all excited because I've come to a train station after a long time. I find myself my compartment, I look at the ticket, get my seat and I get cozy. Now, there are three aspects of a train journey. One is to get comfortable with your seat. Two, get to know your fellow passengers. Three, decide whether you want to still be in touch with those fellow passengers. So similarly, in this meeting, it's going to be in the similar way. First, to get cozy, we have auxiliary role players who is going to make our meeting as comfortable as possible. To know our fellow passengers, we are having two sections where Toastmasters will be giving prepared speeches. There are 3 prepared speeches. And after that, there will be table topic session where a topic would be given, an impromptu speech would be given by the fellow Toastmasters. And the third aspect, that is judging those passengers, whether you want to stay in connected with them later on or not, is where the general evaluator will come into play, and they will evaluate all the speakers who have come on the stage. Now, without further ado, I pack my bags, I reach the station, I am in the train, I found my seat, and I am starting to get comfortable. As I try to get comfortable, there are certain checklists that I have. One, as I as going to Jaipur, I want to know all the stations which are going to come in the way. So I have a screenshot of the timetable of the train. So I would like to just to help me in my journey with the timetable. There is a timer in this group, and I would like to request Toastmaster Vishnu Bhagat to please introduce your role.
Hello and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Vishnu Bhagat, and I will be your timer for the day. One of the most important skills we sometimes fail to acquire when we learning how to speak in public is the ability to express an idea or thought in a specific period of time. So my role today would be keeping the track of your time, as every Toastmaster meetings has an assigned timer, and I'm supposed to keep the track of the time of each of the speech that you give out and give out the report at the end of the session. Okay. So to explain this further, uh, I would like to share my screen over here. Just give me a moment. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, so if you take a look down at your agenda, you are going to see three columns with three different numbers. Okay, each one of these numbers represents a card. Okay, so when you reach the first number, you are going to see a green card, which is being shared on the screen right now. Okay, that means you still have plenty of time left. You can go ahead with the speech. Now, when you move on to the second time slot, you will be shown a yellow card. That means you still have time left, but you need to get started towards the end of your speech. Now, when you are on the last frame, you will be shown a red card. That means you need to wrap up your speech. Okay. And you will be allotted 30 seconds after your time is up as well. Make sure that you refrain yourself from getting disqualified and you stay within the given time limits. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you and thank you everyone. Please go ahead, Mr. Abhijit. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu. As I travel, I always like to carry with me a novel. That makes me seem like a smart person who knows English language quite fluently. Similarly, in this meeting, we have the grammarian who would be playing the same role. So I would request grammarian Shakshar to please introduce your role.
Thank you, Abhijit. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. I'm Toastmaster Sakshar, and I'm the grammarian for today. My role is simply to pay close attention to the good usage of English, as well as to provide some valuable feedbacks in the end to our respective speakers. Before ending, I would just like to share the screen, and I would like to present you the word of the day. Just a second. Can you see my screen?
No, Shakshar.
I don't know. There is some error that's coming.
Saksha, you can share it in the messages as well.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah. I'll just present it there. So the word of the day is reminiscence. I'll just share it on the chat box. So this is the word of the day. The basic meaning of this word is the act of recalling or telling of a past experience. Example can be, for example, his reminiscence about the war were painful to hear. I'll be posting the meaning of this word in the chat box, and in the end, I'll be presenting my report. Over to you, Abhijit.
Thanks, Akshar. Now, as I start with my journey, the train has started to move. And the first person that I see who is trying to get everything in order is a TC, a person who makes sure all the travelers are sitting in the right place. Similarly, in our meeting today, we have an R counter who would make sure that everything is in order by the speakers. So now we have our R counter, Toastmaster Rajiv Khanna.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a message for you. Can you hear me?
Yes, but not the message.
Why not?
Because you are not playing it, I guess.
Because there is too much static. My job today is to remove the static from our speech. The uhs, the ons, the ums, the you knows, the okays. So far, I've already heard 12 from Abhijit. Whenever you create static in your message, you take away from your message. The good news is this is learned behavior. You will be absolutely shocked how quickly you're able to overcome it. So my job today, ladies and gentlemen, is to watch for useless noise words, keep count, and make you aware of them. Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. As the train has started to move, I have got my ticket checked, and now the boredom has started to sink in. Now I'm kind of starting to believe that there's 4 hours to go, and the novel is not getting my attention. So I took up to my phone, and I see that the signal is there. So I open YouTube and play a stand-up comedian's video. So similarly, today in our meeting, we have a joke master, Shweta Gaur. Toastmaster Shweta Gaur, please kindly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, thank you Abhijit. Sorry, my system is not working today, so I've started this meeting on my mobile. So here I start. Hello fellow Toastmasters, I am Toastmaster Shweta and I am your joke master for the day. Mother. I am a mother of a 5-year-old kid. Yes, you heard it right. I'm a mother of a 5-year-old kid. I know many of you might be wondering now, Santoor, can't help it. On a side note, a warning to our budding roast masters. I don't want to be roasted for this. You know how mothers are, they're very good with spanking. So, rearing a child can be tricky. It's really tricky, I'm telling you. You have to deal with a low IQ person and still behave that they are super smart. So there are those little fragile mice who have this high affinity for cheese, oops, gadgets. Once you turn around, they swish away with your gadgets. Now coming back to my kid. One day, he rushed to me and declared that he is not going to talk to BB anymore. And I asked him, what is BB? He yelled, it's Nanu. I pulled him and took him to a quiet place. What's that, Rubansh? What are you saying? He wants me, he says, that I will throw your stuff outside in the gully. Those who do not know what gully is, it's a narrow road in a residential area. So our gully is such that if it's which otherwise, if it was visible, then there would be MCD trucks allocated. I'm telling you, MCD trucks allocated to pick up our household stuff when my father says something. So the boy had now arose my curiosity. I asked him again, what is BB? He said, it's bad boy. Now you should go to a school where they teach you short forms. Now he has questioned my IQ. It was my turn to question his. So what I did, I made him watch. Pran movie, and from that day on, Pran is the only bad boy at our house. So this is all for now, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you so much for your support. Over to you, team.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shweta. I'm sorry there has been cut of electricity. Just give it a second before the power comes back. My apologies for that. So now, again, taking you on the journey with me on the train. So as soon as I got a little comfortable with my journey, I get snacks. Can anyone recollect the snacks, the tea setup that Indian Railways gives? And do you know what comes with this?
Right, teas. Yeah, chai. Yes, tea.
The thermos.
Hot water, boiling water.
The hot
Yes.
water. The hot water thermos, which has been there with Indian Railways over 50 years. It has been there and it is always going to be there. The design has not changed, nor anything about it. Now, I would ask fellow Toastmasters if you can share the minute nuances about your journey in the trains and talk about your nostalgic experience.
I would like to.
Yes, please, Ashish, go ahead.
I mean, when you showed this train, it reminded me of my time. It was reminiscent of the time when I used to take this train from Jaipur to Delhi on a quarterly basis, I would say. So for you, it is 5:35 p.m. It leaves at 5:35 p.m. from Delhi, Sarai Rola, and it reaches Jaipur Gandhinagar station at 10:30 p.m. And for us, it leaves at 6:10 a.m. in the morning and reaches at around 10:05 Delhi, Sarai Rola. So, I mean, the moment you showed me that train, I literally had tears, and it was like somewhere back in the year 2012, 2011. This was the time when I used to take those train journeys. And there were quite a number of them, I would tell you, because our training institute was there in Parliament Street. And we had to go like every quarter, every half year we had to go. And other than that, other than work purpose, also I had to visit Delhi. So thank you for bringing back those vivid memories, those fond memories of those train journeys. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish, for sharing that. I would request Toastmaster Rajiv to share his nuances.
You guys get hungry in trains? I get extraordinarily hungry. From Mumbai to Ludhiana, my aunt had made me 5 meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, 5 meals. I sat down on my seat in Mumbai, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I started with my breakfast. Then I started with my lunch. And then I started with my dinner. And the breakfast for the next day, and the lunch. There were 2 young girls sitting next to me in deluxe. Around my 5th course, one of the young ladies actually asked me, "Are you going to eat more?" She said so. I couldn't stop laughing. Somehow, trains always make me hungry. And you can imagine if you have 5 meals in one course, people around you are going to start wondering what's wrong with this guy. That is a memory reminiscent of my gluttony, and I wear it with pride.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. As we start drinking tea and have snacks, it's the time that we start getting to know our fellow passengers. So in this meeting, we'll be doing the same. Now we are getting into the section where prepared speeches are being delivered. So the first prepared speech is by Toastmaster Sagar Dugal. And before I invite him on stage, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Swasti.
Thank you, Abhijit. A very good evening to everyone. Toastmaster Sagar today will be delivering his level 2 speech, level 2 project 2. The purpose of his speech is to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. And timer, please note that the time limit for his speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Sagar, at this point of time, I would like to ask you, is there anything in particular that you would want me to evaluate you on?
No.
All right. All the very best to you, Sagar.
Thank you.
Over to the team on.
Thanks, Toastmaster Swasti. Now, I would like to invite Sagar Dugal on the stage. Sagar Dugal will be presenting his level 2, project 2 on innovative planning. Sagar Dugal, voice note, Sagar Dugal.
It was one fine summer afternoon, and I was driving my car. My brother was sitting next to me. The signal turned into green, and my brother shouted, "Come on, move on, it's a green signal." In a fraction of a second, I responded, "I have my own eyes. I know how to see. Am I the driver or are you the driver?" How many times this happens to you when you're trying to send a message to the receiver, and the effect of the message is exactly vice versa? And the effect is especially the one which you have not anticipated. According to a research, any message can be divided into three main elements. Element number one is the content of the message. Element number two, it's the appeal of the message. And the element number three, what's the relationship between the speaker and the listener. If we scrutinize the entire situation which was happened between me and my brother, if we scrutinize the entire situation, the content was that it was a green signal. Appeal was that it's a it's a green signal, and it's time to move on. And the relationship between me and the guy, he was my brother. And how the entire situation how the entire situation fallen into my ears, it was like this. Content was, it was a green light, and the appeal was, which I heard, the appeal was, okay, move on. It's a green signal. It's time to move on. Like, is it the very first time you are driving on the on the streets? Please don't drive like the girls. It was a message which was like falling into my ears. in our day-to-day life, we encounter with such flawed conversation with our brother, with our sisters, with our siblings, our like office colleagues, the boss, and the list goes on. Have you ever wondered why does this happen? And the only and if we scrutinize the reason deep down, the only reason is the way the receiver comprehend your message is directly proportional to the history of the conversation you had with the receiver. This is very, very important line of my speech. Your message is being comprehended. It is directly proportional to the relationship between you and the speaker. And here comes the main question: can we change the history? Can we change the history of of our conversation? The answer is absolutely no. We can't change the history of our conversation. Then what's the solution of this entire problem, or how we can overcome this flawed conversation? It can only and only be overcome if we talk with each other. If we talk with each other, the message which we are trying to send, we also along with the words, we also exchange our emotions as well with the speaker. So these days, what I started doing that. These days, what I started doing that whenever I'm supposed to send a very important message on the WhatsApp to anyone, I also send a voice note as well. And the only reason is because your voice narrates your emotions. And with the emotion, the other person can understand the intent of your message. No matter how good your intent is, if the receiver is not able to comprehend, even the good message can stab someone's heart. And if the receiver is able to comprehend your message, even the bad message, even the bad message will not harm much to this. Even the bad message will not harm the receiver. In the nutshell, all I want to say is it's always good to exchanging the words with each other whenever we are facing any confusion, any problem, or anything which you are not able to comprehend. Either you are at the listener side or you are at the receiver side. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sagar. That was a very insightful speech. Now going ahead in our journey in this train. Now I would like to share, just a second. As drinking the powder tea that I was given in the train, I did not enjoy it. So what I do, I wait for the next station to come and drink the most authentic Indian railway tea, that is the Kullad tea. Now, I'm pretty sure this would bring a lot of memories out for a lot of people. Does anyone has any memory that they want to share about Kullad tea on a station? So, okay, let's see. Oh, thanks, Wesley. Yes, Toastmasters Wesley, yes.
So there was a time when I was traveling from Nainital to Delhi and I was driving. So after 2-3 hours of driving, I was extremely exhausted. So we saw a Kullad wala. It was a January night, foggy January night, and there was no tea stall that was coming, and one suddenly appeared. And so foggy January night, we parked our car and we are drinking the Kullad tea. And for some reason, Kullad makes the taste of tea so good that you want to consume more. So I remember, I think I ended up consuming 3 chai in one go because I was exhausted, and then the taste was so good that I like gulped down one after the other. So yeah, that was one memorable moment.
Thanks, Toastmasters Swati. So this is what happened with me. I remember whenever my friend or anyone would want to go on a train journey, I would always go and drop them on a station so that I can enjoy my cooler cup of tea with them. So yeah. Now I would like to call the next speaker. Before I do, I would next speaker Smita Verma. Before I do, I would like to call the evaluator, Toastmaster Nandini Agrawal.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. Today, a very special Toastmaster, Toastmaster Smita, who has been breaking barriers with each of her speech, is going to break yet another barrier with her level 2 project 2 of visionary communication pathway. The purpose of her speech is to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary style. Her objectives are to tell us about her communication style and its impact on her professional or personal relationship. Timer, please note that the time is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Smita. I'm sure you will nail it with your communication style.
Now, I would like to invite Toastmaster Smita on the stage. She is giving her level 2, project 2 of Visionary Communicator. And the topic of her speech is I Love Red Rose. I love Red Rose. Toastmaster Smita, I love Red Rose.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhijit. You have revived many reminiscences of the memories of the travel. I did my internship with DCOT, and for 2 months I was traveling by train. So it was a nice experience to go through all those memories again. So good evening, everyone. With show of hand, please tell me, how many of you have miscommunicated with someone in the past? Okay, thank you. Thanks for your participation. Communication is a very funny thing. We communicate on the daily basis, and the goal of any communication is to feel valued and understood. The problem comes when our way of communication may be different from the style of the communication of the person we are talking with. Which means, even though we might be talking in the same language, the way we receive information versus they receive and the way we give information might be completely different from the other person. So I have a small story, like all the time, to share with you. And for that, let's go back to my childhood. We were 4 friends. I'll take few 4 positions just to make sure that you remember the names. So there was Shruti, there was Preksha, me, and Shweta. And there was a beautiful Sunday morning. We all decided to go to Red Rose Garden in Delhi, Mughal Garden. And Shruti, the moment she reached there, she was all bubbly, dancing, cheerful. She said, "Oh my God, what a beautiful day. Look around. How beautiful. I'm so glad. I'm so lucky that I have all of you as friends. Look at these flowers. Aren't the best creation of the God?" So that was Shruti. Preksha said, "Yes, I love red roses." That's all. She didn't say anything more. And there was me. What I was thinking, I just said, "Yes, red color is beautiful, you know. And the fragrance is also makes me feel refreshed. It uplifts my mood. And that's why, yes, I love red roses. And there was Shweta, quiet and silent. We looked at her and she was like, what? I was just listening. I'm so happy that you all are so happy. Yes, I do love red roses because it makes you so happy. Let's come back to today. While preparing this assignment of Toastmaster, I got to learn that all the four of us were exhibiting different communication styles. So let's relook at it. Shruti, she was engaging, energetic, enthusiastic, and sociable. She was exhibiting the initiative style of communication. Let's look at Preksha. She just said one line, but in a way, all of us mentioned, expressed interest for roses. Whereas Preksha was so direct. She just used one line, yes, I love red roses. Period. Nothing more, nothing less. Precise, direct, to the point communication. Look at me. You might have already guessed. I was so analytical. Even I was finding a reason, logical reasoning behind why do I like red roses. The color is good, the fragrance is good, it uplifts my mood, that's why. So the analytical style of communication which I was exhibiting is more around facts and figures. Let's look at Shweta. She was listening to everyone. She was quite observant. She was quite observant to the feelings of others. She was empathetic. And in a way, she was exhibiting the supportive style of communication. So let's come back. With all these insights, and by knowing that when we invest time in understanding how to communicate, understanding and also learning how to communicate with different styles of communication, we help the other person to feel valued and feel understood. So there is an idea. I'm going to gift them red rose bouquet. Do you think it's a good idea? I'm going to give them as a reminiscence of that Mughal garden visit. And you know how I'm going to make it special for each of them? I'm going to add one additional flavor to it. For Shruti, I'm going to put a lovely card with a long story of why red roses are beautiful and how her friendship makes my life equally beautiful. Yes, that's what initiative communicators like. They want to hear long stories. They want the connect, and I'm sure she would feel valued. For Preksha, I have another plan. I'm going to write 2-3 liners about, yes, I miss that particular visit to Mughal garden with her, and she is very valuable in my life. I miss every moment I spent with her. Because that's the way she will understand that I miss her, she is precious. I need to use those words while communicating and making her feel valuable. Let's leave it for now. Come to Shweta. For Shweta, I have another plan. I'm going to add a photograph of 4 of us. Because these people value group emotions more. So I'm sure the photograph of 4 of us from that day will bring a smile on her face. Now in the end, I have some challenge for you also. Are you ready for the challenge? So the challenge is, you need to think, how would you make me, the analytical person, feel special with those red roses? Think clearly, think analytically. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Back to Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thanks, Toastmasters Smita. That was a very engaging speech that you gave today. Now, I would like to continue with our journey in the train. Where were we at? We were drinking tea, and then what? Can you guys remember the very snack that Indian Railways provide, and it's been providing for last 80 years, if I'm not wrong? Yes, this is the cutlet, or as they say, cutlets. Yes, and I reminisce the cutlass, as they say it, and I do not enjoy the bread. So what do I do? The next thing that I do is, as soon as my train stops at the next station, I give it to a humble animal walking by. But there are certain struggles that is associated with the train, right? For example, if you're taking a long journey train and you know that you have to charge your phone and there's only one charging point for six of us, you know you have to attack. You have to attack because you know there would be someone who would put for charging and will take 7 or 8 hours just to charge one phone. So these are few of the struggles that you have to go through when you are traveling in train. So now I would like to call the next speaker on the stage, and before I do that, I would like to call their evaluator, Sitit Shethi, on the stage to provide the objective of the speaker's speech.
Hello everyone. So am I audible? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So Neha will be delivering her level 2 project 3 speech. The purpose of her speech is to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring and the importance of having a mentor in her life. Timer, please note that the duration of her speech will be around 5 to 7 minutes. And I have a little thing to say for all of you and also for Neha before starting this speech. All of us experience stage fright. The best way to conquer it, according to my experience, just accept it as it is. Don't try to run away from it. Accept the stage fright as it is. Go, there you go, Neha. I'm really excited for your speech.
Now I would like to call Toastmaster Neha Dhingra on the stage. She is delivering her level 2 project 3 of effective learning, and title of speech is Less Mania. Less Mania, Toastmaster Neha Dhingra. Toastmaster Neha Dhingra, Less Mania. I hope I pronounced
So
it.
much. It's Lishmania, but then it goes like that. It's okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhijit and Shitesh, for wonderful words. So, how do I tell you this? Oh God, I am so confused. What to do with my scientific experiment? It is failing. Whom should I go to? I am sure you all must be facing some or the other situation just like this in your personal lives or in profession. What do you do? Whom do you go to? Who's your go-to person? Anybody who would like to share? Go for it, Abhijit.
So for me, my go-to person is my brother, my elder brother. For anything and everything that I have a question on, I just end up calling him and asking him for advice.
Do you always go to one person or you have different person for different situations? Because sometimes we refer to one person as our go-to, or we decide, okay, in this situation, this person might help. In that situation, that person might be very helpful to us. So do you have that anybody who wants to share this? Who all agree? Go for it, Abhijit. Yes, Rajat. Yes, Smita.
Yeah, I think I agree. When I need rational and logical advice, I go to one of my friend, and when I need someone to hype me up, I go to this another friend. So yeah.
Great work, Nandini. Yes, Abhijit, you were saying something.
Yes. So for example, if I have to have a professional question that I need to answer, so I have a mentor who was my first boss, whom I always speak to. And whenever it's Toastmaster related issues that I have to answer, I directly connect my mentor from the Toastmaster in this club and the Toastmaster from my previous club.
Rajat, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, well, I fully agree with your point. In my case, if I want to talk about some kind of people, like how are they, whether should I approach them, I go to my mother because she is an extrovert in character. She knows, she is a lawyer basically, so she knows the good and the bad sides of people. She has experienced through a lot. So I will start talking about my friends, and my mom is like, she's not that good. You should not be best for you. I like, oh, she's a very good girl. Okay, she's good for you. That guy is really good. And most of the time she has been on point. That's the whole thing. So yeah, And for many other informal things, I would generally go to my close friends and even my brother to some extent.
Thank you so much, Rajat. Smita, you were saying something?
I was just agreeing to your point.
Okay, wonderful. So now if we consider all these situations, can we divide them into two parts that, okay, we have a coach, we have a mentor. Anybody who could differentiate between a coach and a mentor?
A coach is someone who focuses on the small term objectives, achieving small term objectives of the person. Whereas mentoring could last years and years. It's a long time. Like a mentor will be there throughout his life, probably, but a coach will be there for a small amount of time. Like if I want to achieve this particular objective, okay, fine, I'll find a coach for that. But a mentoring is involved in all the aspects of your life.
Right. So in my perspective, for me, a coach is somebody who would focus on a short problem or one problem at the time. Not many problems, but he will come and help me solve a particular objective that I am targeting at. Whereas a mentor, as per me, is somebody who would encourage me, hype me up, give me the clarity of thoughts that I have required at the particular moment to deal with the situation. He or she will not deal it for me. They will make sure that I deal with the situation. That is what a mentor is for me. That is how I define my mentor. Why I say that, let me share a live example with you that I faced. While I was doing my MPhil, I had this exclusive organism known as Leishmania that I had to deal with. I was in a difficult situation. I was in a complete fix. I had no idea how to go for the growth curve of the Leishmania. I haven't even heard his name. What is this organism? How do I go about it? I am a newcomer. How are you expecting me to deal with it? Okay, let's start with the research process. Okay, done and dusted. Then what? I failed. Imagine, I tried YouTube. I failed. I was failing miserably at it. Then I tried asking people around, but they had different streams. What should I do? I had one senior, but I was very afraid of her. I never felt the comfort of going and asking to her because I am a person who's an ambivert. I would never initiate a conversation. Once started, I would never shut up also. So I wanted to go to her, but I was very reluctant about it. Still, I thought, okay, I am failing. Let me fail at one more thing. So I decided to go to her, speak to her politely that, okay, this is my situation. What should I do about it? And without blinking an eye, she said yes. And I was shocked. I was taken aback. Okay, she said yes without seeing any benefit for her. She's not even my friend. Why would she help me? What was a major giveaway from that situation? 5. Always ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Second, whenever you go for asking for help, have a smile on your face. It helps. And a pretty smile like me, it definitely helps. Third, whenever you are going, you have no idea that you will be failing or you will be passing. Go for it. You will be surprised. Fourth, God has his own mysterious ways to work for it. And fifth, always trust yourself that, okay, if the plan is going to fail, you have yourself. So always keep on trying. In the end, I would say this Leishmania not only gave me the growth curve, which I was aiming for, but also gave me a one true friend for entire life. She not only taught me how to deal with the scientific problem, but also non-scientific problem. Why I say that? It's okay to have failures in scientific experiment. You will be failing, you will be slogging, you will be crying all day. But then, as we all say in PhD, there is no problem that cannot be solved over the cup of hot tea at the tapri wale bhaiya, where you get your unsolicited advices from him that, okay, have a samosa, have a patty, have some Maggie, have some soupy noodles. Everything is going to go fine. He has this all advices to himself. In the end, I would like to say a mentor is a person who would show you the mirror to see yourself, your qualities, your beauty, your inner, I would say, qualities that you have no idea about. Yes, you are made up of wonderful things that you are unaware of. So go for it. Have a cup of tea over the tapri wale bhaiya in the end. Thank you. That's my time, guys.
Thank you, Toastmaster Neha, for giving a wonderful speech today. Now, taking the journey ahead. As we struggle and we fight for the charging place, but on the other hand, there are a lot of kind things that we end up seeing. For example, I remember I was wearing a shoes and I did not have a slipper and I had to go to the washroom. So I just simply borrowed it from the next person, next traveler, and I asked them if I can borrow your slippers so I can go to the washroom. And while I do, can you please look over my luggage? So there is a lot of act of kindness that you end up seeing in the railways, in the trains. And as comparing that with the flight, I see there's a staggering difference. There's a difference in the sense that people don't communicate or talk as much, as in the plane seats are not designed in a way that the fellow commuters can talk and discuss. Whereas Indian Railways, if you see, the seats are just aptly designed that we can have the most wonderful conversations while sitting in those seats. So that's all I wanted to discuss about Indian Railways and traveling in Indian Railways, one of them. Does anyone has anything that they want to share about their train journey?
I have one experience,
Yes, go ahead.
So as part of my job, I was required to go to interior places of Rajasthan for some inspection work of bank branches and all. So there was once time where I had to go to a place called Amet, which is a very small locality. It is spread in a radius of 3 to 4 kilometers. That's it. And the nearest station was Rajsamand, I think. Rajsamand was the nearest railway station. I need to take a train from Rajsamand to go back to Jaipur. So it so happened that I missed my train, and I was unaware of the rule that you can board the train. You can board the train that you have missed. You can board the train up to the second station, up to the second junction in the train journey. So there are 14 junctions. So Rajsamand, then there was another one, and Bhilwara. So you can board it till Bhilwara before the TT can give it to somebody else. So that was a nightmarish experience for me, and I had to take a bus to get to Bhilwara. I caught the train in the nick of time, and the TT had already given it. He was in the process of giving it to someone else. When I showed up and I said that this is my seat, I could not board it from Amit, which is a very small Rajsamand, and now I've come here to board it. So this is the second station. As per law, you cannot give it to, as per the rule, you cannot give it to someone else. It belongs to me. So that is one kind of weird memory that I have when it comes to train journey. So, thank you.
Yes. So talking about missing train, this is one of the things that I'm pretty sure most of you guys might have been in that situation or might have heard of that situation. I had one situation like this. I was traveling to Hyderabad from Mumbai, and it was the last day of Ganpati, and that was the day when Ganpati statues were getting visurgent, and so there was streets were all blocked. The train that I wanted to catch was from a train. I was to catch a local train, and 3 stations from that local train, I had to go to the Lokmanya Tilak terminus from where the train was going to start. So it's just a journey of 10 minutes or at the max 15 minutes. So I have 11:05 train in the night, and I start from my house at 10 so that I can reach on time. But to my dismay, the trains were not working. The local trains were not working. And I had to catch an auto rickshaw to go to the station, but the roads were blocked. So I had to leave one auto rickshaw, run, cross the street while everyone is dancing on the street. I cross the street, catch another auto rickshaw, and finally reach the station. And as I reached the station, the train had started to leave. So I end up reaching in the last compartment and getting myself finally boarding the train. So there are a lot of these stories that ends up coming up with Indian Railways. And one of the things that you always, the biggest struggle that a person has is to book a Tatkal ticket on IRCTC on Indian Railways website. I'm pretty sure a lot of few people could relate to that. So now, without further ado, I would like to hand over the stage to the to table topic master of today's session, Toastmaster Ashish Dhyani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Udit, and thank you so much for such a reminiscent, nostalgic, vibrant session. It has brought back so many memories of the time when we used to take those train journey. It's not happening as frequently as it used to happen back then, but thank you so much for letting us relive all those memories through the experiences that you shared with us. It was so profound. It was so wonderful, and give a huge round of applause for this beautiful session. Okay, so time to move on to our next session, which is the table topic session. And to give you a brief idea what table topic session is all about, as a table topic master, I'll be giving you certain topics and you'll be required to speak on those topics for about 1 to 2 minutes. And who am I going to call for this table topic entirely depends on me. But before we start with the table topic, I have a small request to make. I would request everyone to come on camera. And if you can change the naming convention, because it's very difficult for me to see the agenda all the time. I saw Arpit was the evaluator, and I checked that the evaluator has been replaced by Swasti. So it's a little difficult for me to see who are the role players and who are the guests. If some people can just put their roles in front of their names, that'll make my job a little easier. So it's a humble request. I can see the guests have already done that, so they're more disciplined than the Toastmasters we have in the club. And I would urge you all to use the word of the day, reminiscent. It's such a beautiful word. And the timer, please, I think we are all aware of the time duration that we have. You get 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, they will show you the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, the timer will show the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, he will show the red card. So I'll share the screen for about 30 seconds. And after that, I'll remove the screen so that timer can share his cards. Okay, let's begin our table topic session. And who would like to come first? Anyone who is not playing? Oh, yeah, Kushal. Yes, definitely, Kushal. Just a second, buddy. Let me share my screen. And Toastmaster Kushal Sarkar, here comes your topic. I must do something always solves more problems than something must be done. I must do something always solves more problem than something must be done. Toastmaster Kushal Sarkar.
Thank you very much for this innovative topic, Ashish. I really love the artwork and everything. So my name is Kushal Sarkar, and before we begin, can we give a round of applause to Abhijit for the great T-mod he did? Thank you. So I must do something always solves more problems than something must be done. It's a very important attitude. It's a very important attitude to have as you're going through life, because as much as I don't like to admit it, and as much as a lot of you would not like to admit it, failures, setbacks, disappointments will always be a part of life. In fact, even betrayal will be a part of life. And you will have to have what I call a pioneer spirit. Now, what is this pioneer spirit? It's stuff that and I'm not getting political here. If you see when the nation of Israel was started up, they had a very hostile environment. There was no agriculture. There was the worst sort of mosquitoes. They had really nothing really to do. So what did they do? They used drip irrigation technology and they created a farmland in a desert. They created a world-class unit. They could not afford to send everyone abroad, so they created their own university. They were suffering from a fruit fly that destroyed their crops. Do you know what they did? They took a fly, sterilized that fly, and released that fly back into the wild. So naturally, without toxic chemicals, that fly's population decreased. If you look towards in America, Las Vegas, when they wanted to create a city which would attract tourists, they again went to a desert and built the city, which today is one of the biggest tourist revenue earners in America. Pioneer spirit. Believe you can do something. Believe in your ability. Always think things through with a long-term view. And more often than not, unless it's something horrible, you will be able to rise above your difficulties. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kushal Sarkar. Ladies and gentlemen, that was omniscient Toastmaster Kushal Sarkar for you, knowing everything about drip irrigation university. I think Israel went on to become Atmanirbhar well before we guys are planning to become. So that was wonderful. I love the way you attempted this topic. So kudos to you, Kushal. So I guess most of you must have got a brief idea as to what table topics are all about. So who would like to come next? I would like to call. Okay, guest Ryan would like to come next. Cool.
Yeah.
So we go with guest Ryan, and your topic is pausing helps you refrain from making a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. Pausing helps you from refrain from making a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. To guest Ryan.
Yeah. So good evening to one and all present here. I'm Ryan Chaudhary, and as the topic says, pausing is very important. So, according to me, in life, everything comes from pauses. Like you should pause every step so that you can reevaluate yourself and find that if you are taking the right decisions or not. Some of the decisions can be right, some of the decisions can be wrong. And there are many quotations which you can find in internet as well, that which explains that the life is about uh, seeing in your inner self and reevaluating. So in those times uh, you must pause what you are doing and think about what the things which you have done, and connect the dots looking backward, because that is the way you can grow in your life. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, guest Ryan. Connect the dots looking backwards, and hindsight is always 2020. That was wonderful, and I'm happy that you came and you volunteered for the topic. It was wonderful, and kudos to you. Okay, who would like to come for the next one? Or Kshitij, as an evaluator, we'll come back to you since you have a role. Is it okay with you? Okay, we'll go with a guest. How about we go with guest Shravanti? Am I pronouncing your name correctly, ma'am? Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can try.
I guess sorry to interrupt, but Vikram Singh was raising his hand throughout, so this one.
Okay, I'll come back next to you. Let me go with guest Shravanti, and then we'll come back to you, sir. Okay, guest Shravanti. The lust for comfort kills the passion of the soul. The lust for comfort kills the passion of the soul. Guest Shravanti.
Okay, so this is so appropriate for me for my current situation, because in my second year of engineering, like there was this you should get high packages and all that fuss. So I actually got attracted to that, and I was aiming continuously to get high packages. And now actually I got into one of the very big companies, but you know what, I never wanted to do this. I realized that I never wanted to do this, because I was always into doing some management side. But now I have got into engineering as a software developer, and I'm not really enjoying it. Yeah. So yeah, so the lust for comforts and the money and prestige, that is not at all what is so important at the end of your day or an end of your life. Following your passion is what makes you feel good. Yeah. So yes.
That was amazing. At the end of the day, following your passion is all that matters. And as late Steve Jobs would have said, you have to find what you love to do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. So I suggest you keep looking, do not settle. That was wonderful, guest Shravanti. I love that you came for the table topic. And we'll move on to our next speaker, next guest speaker. Who would like, okay, Vikram Singh. Okay, we'll go with Vikram. And your topic is, in a world full of anxious days, be the reason they sleep peacefully at night. In a world full of anxious days, be the reason they sleep peacefully at night. Vikram Singh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vikram Singh, and I am here to present my views on this topic in a world full of anxious days. So as we are living in the era of technology, most of the disturbing thing, I must say, is cell phone. And we are constantly getting disturbed by the technology through this device. And even this disturbs us when we go to our bed. And most of the people, they are suffering from various mental disease because of this boon in the nature of sin, I must say. So these are my views. It was a little technical for me. I was just trying to
but
make
it's okay. That's okay, but at least you took the courage to come and speak, and this is what Toastmaster is all about.
Yes.
You have to take
I was thinking that what should I
no, we really commend you for the fact that you took courage and came to
Thank you.
attempt this topic. So wonderful. And as you said that the most disturbing thing in life is cell phone.
Yes, most disturbing thing in life.
I could not agree more with you, because this cell phone is one of the reasons that is forcing me to turn my video off, because I'm getting phone calls from my office. So apologies for that.
This is the thing. It is snatching even life's precious things in our life.
Sure. Good. Thanks. Thank you so much, Vikram Singh. It was wonderful. And we'll move on to our next speaker. Who would like to come next? Any raise of hands? Anyone? Okay, guest Abhishek has raised his hand. So we'll go with guest Abhishek. And guest Abhishek, here comes your topic. The same heat that melts the butter hardens the same heat that melts the butter hardens the batter. The same heat that melts the butter hardens the batter. Guest Abhishek.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I can relate this with an example. A few years back, I was working in abroad. Okay, I was working in Muscat, Oman. The job was very good. I took a new opportunity is Mumbai. Okay, the pay is very low, but I take it to make me stronger. I know that job is going to, the place and the job is going to hit me a lot, because I was working abroad, and I was well settled, getting good pay. The work culture is very good. But I was when I moved to abroad, I was expecting that I will be more independent. But when I went there, it is more comfortable than living here. So after a year, I moved back to Mumbai to learn a lot of new things, to make myself more stronger. In that process, I got a lot of heat, and it sometimes I even broke, because living alone for so long, and then struggling in a new city with different people with different thoughts. It's really hard. Like those 4 years were really hard for me before I moved. But that time, the time I spent in Mumbai really shaped me very well. I got to I learned a lot. I got a lot of experience. I got a new job. I got much better that what I was doing in abroad. Right now I'm doing much better than what I was doing there. And right now I'm getting more what I'm getting there. So really that experience really shaped me well. So yeah, I think that this quote suit very true. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guest Abhishek. And since you have brought up the topic of Mumbai, I will have my 2 cents to share with you, since I'm joining you from Mumbai. I think it is one of those places that hits you hard. And I feel you when you said that. And the only thing that I've learned over here is how to resist the temptation to avoid having a vada pav while passing by one of the street vendors. It's very difficult. They look so tempting, and you have to resist the temptation.
It's very good city, but it's little difficult for if you're coming from some outside.
Definitely. And I could not have agreed more with you on this. Thank you so much for the table topic. And who would like to come next? Okay, we have Shrishti. So let's go with Shrishti. Yes, Shrishti. Yes, you are very much audible. And here comes your topic. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable, Toastmaster Shrishti.
Okay, thank you for this topic, Ashish. Keep some room in your heart for unimaginable. Yeah, in our life, we are so engaged in making plans. We think that we'll do things like this and that, and we keep going like that. But if we have this flexibility in mind that we will accept the thing that it will come as well, we can accept it. Then if there is a failure or if the things change, we can flexibly adapt to it, I guess. For example, I was doing bachelor's and master's in English literature and never thought I'll be going towards civil services. But then as I went ahead, I felt that as I went ahead, I explored more. It was something which was not at all in my head, but I let it come. But at a point, I let it come into my life, and now I'm very passionate for it. It's like if you keep the room for unimaginable, kind of you have this chance of moving out of your comfort zone. If you are always sticking to something imaginable, always the path you will follow, then you're not giving yourself chance to explore, or you're not giving yourself chance to grow. But by keeping that the tiny thought in your head, you are giving your chance to grow multifold and help others. Second example would be Toastmasters. I always wanted to do public speaking, but I was always confused that I thought that I can't do it. And once or twice I tried it and then I chucked it. I thought that this is not for me. But then one day I just came across CCT and I decided to give myself another chance. And it turned out to be something unimaginable I would do. And here I am and enjoying it a lot. So I'll just like to tell everyone that keep that unimaginable in your head and it will take you ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shrishti. And we enjoyed it as well, the way you covered it, the way you summarized it. It was wonderful. And when you said that you need to come out of your comfort zone, it is something which is something that all of us felt very profoundly. So wonderful. It was beautiful the way you spoke on this topic. Do we have time for more topics?
How many have you done with?
We are done with 6 right now.
I think that's enough for today.
That's enough. Okay,
Yes.
so I think we'll have a wrap on my table topic session today. I hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, do vote for me. So just kidding. And with that, I'll transfer the stage to journal evaluator Rajat Santosh.
Is it to TMOD and then TMOD hands it over to me?
Oh,
It's okay. It's okay. If just wanted to take a moment. Does anyone want to take a bio break right now for 2 minutes? Do you guys all want to take a bio break for 2 minutes?
I'm fine either way.
Okay. So yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Rajat.
Okay. So thank you so much, Table Topic Master and Toastmaster of the Day. Can you just give me one moment? Let me just. Okay. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. And thank you for inviting me to be your general evaluator for this evening. A trip to nostalgia. What an amazing theme it was by your very own president, Toastmaster of the Day, Abhijit Singh. When you started talking about the train journeys, we are in lockdown for more than 1 year. I terribly miss the train journeys. Like, I'm not a frequent person who journeys on a train, but whenever I do, it is very dear to me, sitting on the side seat of a train with the earphones in my ears, listening to my favorite song, or listening to romantic songs, thinking about your broken love life or something like that. So it was very nostalgic for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed how you were engaging throughout. And I'll come forward with about you in a moment. So without further ado, I believe that we are behind the schedule as per when we are compared with the agenda. So let's move on with the evaluation session. So my evaluation session will be, at first I'll call the speech evaluators, then I'll call the auxiliary role players, and then I'll get on with my general evaluation. So first, let me call upon the first speech evaluator, Toastmaster Swasti, to give the evaluation report on the speech delivered by Toastmaster Sagar Dugal. Over to you, Swasti.
Thank you. I just want to do an audio check. Am I properly audible? Okay, thank you guys. A very good evening to everyone. Toastmaster Sagar delivered a really inspiring speech today. And as I was listening to his speech, trying to evaluate it, I couldn't help but feel inspired myself, because the way, even though he was facing difficulty in uttering some of the words, I couldn't help but notice that he was coming through again and again. And I just could not help myself be inspired. Despite of challenges, he is a brilliant, he delivered a brilliant speech. And the aspects that Sagar used in his speech, I think I'm going to draw a bit of analogy and evaluate his speech on those same aspects. So the first aspect that he shared was content. Sagar, I would like to say that the content that he chose was absolutely a smart kind of a speech. It was short. He chose a very small anecdote and he attached meaning to it by giving a message. So the content was really up to the mark. Second aspect that he shared was the appeal. The appeal that his speech had was, I can share it in two folds. The first was his hand gestures. His hand gestures, I could feel that they were really not extravagant also, but not meaningless also. They were limited to this box around him, which was, I felt it was just perfect. Second thing which added appeal to his speech was the way he enunciates. When he says things like, history with the person decides the comprehension of the message. So the way he enunciates the words, I feel it's really filled with appeal. The third thing that he mentioned was the relationship. So I really like the fact that the anecdote that he shared was so smoothly connected to his message in the end, which was that the tone actually makes the message perceived in a certain way. Having said that, I would also like to point out a couple of recommendations. The first is voice modulation. Like I said, the enunciation was really good, but I felt it could have a bit more voice modulation. For example, when Sagar's brother told him that it's a green light, so you should move. So Sagar replied, I can see, I have my own eyes. So a dramatic flair in that voice modulation could have added more layers. Secondly, so in the end, I would just like to say that the message that you had in the end, Sagar, that you send a voice note along with the message so that even a bad message is conveyed in a better way, so that at least the receiver doesn't comprehend the tone in a negative manner. So I really like the message that you shared. So that's it from my side. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Swasti, for that very good and critical evaluation. Now let me move on to call the second speech evaluator of the second speaker, Toastmaster Nandini Agarwal. I'm sorry, Toastmaster Kshitij Sethi. I'm sorry. Let me call upon the second speech evaluator, Toastmaster Nandini Agarwal, to present the evaluation report on the speech delivered by Toastmaster Smita Verma. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajat. Shweta's friend loved red roses. But what I am loving right now is Shweta's speech. What a brilliant speech by Shweta. The confidence, 101%. The content, 101%. She had an engaging start. She started by asking a question to the audience and then followed up by telling us the purpose of asking the question. The speech was so well structured. It had an amazing start, it had an engaging story, and it had a proper conclusion. So yes, kudos Shweta on successfully achieving the objectives of your speech. The only thing that she could have improved upon that could have made the speech even better was that she could have used voice modulation when she was acting as 3 or 4 different friends. That could have made the story more intriguing. Otherwise, it was perfect. She made good usage of the stage. She used different spots to represent different friends. Like we often fail to make good usage of the space in online meetings. So yes, great work with that. She was properly dressed up, which made her look even more confident. And the way she took the story till the end, it was amazing. It retained the audience's attention till the end. And the way she ended the story by making use of the creative camera angle, like coming closer to the camera and making that face. I mean, all I want to say is, I love Shweta's speech, period. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajat. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nandini, for that very quality evaluation, I must say. Let me move on to the third evaluator, Toastmaster Kshitij Sethi, to present his evaluation report on the speech delivered by Toastmaster Neha Dhingra. Over to you.
Just give me a thumbs up if I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Tell me, and I will forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I will learn. That's what Neha did in the starting of her speech. At first, I was like, what the hell? Why is she involving members in the middle of a speech? But then I was like, okay, this is a really great way to start the speech. You know, most of the speech, it is said that human beings in this age have the attention span of a goldfish. So to grab someone's attention, you only have like 5 to 15 seconds in the start. To do that, there are 2 approaches. The first approach is to start with something really weird. For example, let's start with testicles. That's a really weird way to approach a conversation or a speech. The other way is to involve members around you. And that's what Neha did, which played out remarkably well. Now, I will share the good aspects and the bad aspects, not so bad aspects actually, of her speech, which will help her to actually improve her speech in the future and probably will give her an effective learning experience. Okay, the good things. The first good thing is obviously the innovation of involving audience members in the speech. I won't go over much on that because it's already mentioned. The next one is great change in facial expressions. You know, I love how she changes her facial expressions like a diva, and sometimes, you know, I'm the beauty, I'm this. I just love her confidence while speaking. And confidence really plays out a big role whenever you're presenting a speech. It's not about the speech, it's about your performance. All right. Okay. So the next thing is that she wonderfully highlighted the difference between a mentor and a coach. She did it so remarkably well, and it had a certain kind of clarity towards it. It was like, boom, okay, I thought they were synonyms. They were not, and she presented it really well. Now, coming down to the bad things or not so bad things, or I will say the things that she could improve in her speech. Number 1, hand movements. Although there were hand movements in her speech, but not her hands, only her fingers were visible. So that could have been improved with a better camera angle. The next thing is too much eye squeezing. Okay, I think this is a really weird point to touch, but I will just give you an example. While I'm speaking, it is really important that my eyes are clearly visible. If I flinch my eyes too much, it will become difficult for this listener to have a connection with me and to understand what I'm saying. The next thing is the cadence of the speech. You know, sometimes, as I've mentioned this before in my previous evaluations, that sometimes to make a certain point, you have to tell it slowly, but sometimes you have to go over it quickly. You know, you have to play with your cadence in order to engage with the audience. The last thing that I'd like to conclude with is that Neha, you are a great performer. You are great with your speeches and presenting them. But the one thing you can really work on is writing your speeches much more beautiful. They're already quite beautiful, but I think this is the area on which you can improve it, because I really don't see many problems with the performance. It's really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shitits, for that wonderful evaluation, I must say. So now that we are done with the speech evaluation, let me move on to the auxiliary role players. Let me first invite the R counter for the day, Toastmaster Rajiv Khanna, to present his report. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Let me share my screen if I can. Let me know if you can see it. Can you all see my screen? I can't hear you. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yes, Rajiv.
So this is how I just said so. This is how I classified. If you have errors from 0, if you have 0 errors, you are a green. If you have 1 to 10, you are yellow. And if you have more than 10, you are red. So please look against your names going down the list. I'm also going to post a link to this in 2 seconds. You can then review these at your leisure. You will notice that there's a pattern. You tend to repeat the same words over and over again, like, yeah, I'm like, all right. There is a comment I have made about singing. Like if you look at Abhijit's, Abhijit's comment on the extreme right-hand side says singing out. What does he do? Sometimes, and to be fair, he had the longest role and he did it very well. Thank you. Sometimes he will sing out the last consonant or even the vowel. And like actually a rhythm to it. That's very well done, but not in a speech. I would suggest people who are in the green must attend every meeting so that you can inspire us. People who are in the yellow zone must attend every meeting because you're almost perfect. And people in the red zone must attend every meeting because you could get perfect relatively quickly. And our guests should join as quickly as they can. Some of you did extremely well. You will notice Vikram had only a couple of comments from me, but the rest, come join us and we'll make our mistakes together and hopefully learn from each other. I'll be posting the link in 2 seconds. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajiv Khanna. Let me move on to the grammarian of the day, which is Toastmaster Sakshar. Let me invite Toastmaster Sakshar to present his grammarian's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It was a pleasure listening to you all. And first of all, I would like to congratulate everyone since I found an excellent usage of English throughout this meeting. Now, I would quickly name the speakers who were able to use the word of the day in their speeches. And these are Toastmaster Ashish, Toastmaster Rajiv, and Speaker Smita. Last but not the least, I feel there is some scope of improvement. So 2 quick suggestions. 1, the sentence is not in a nutshell. Sorry, the sentence is not in the nutshell, it's in a nutshell. And it's not in a seats, it's in the seats. That's all from my side. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sir, for that great evaluation. Let me now call upon the last auxiliary role player, timer of the day, Toastmaster Vishnu Bhagat, for his report.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me just quickly share my screen. Can you all see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Vishnu,
okay.
we can see your screen.
So starting with Abhijit as team on, he took 14 minutes, 48 seconds in his presentation. Sakshar as a grammarian took in total like 1 minute 45 seconds, and Rajiv sir took 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Shweta took 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Sagar, with his wonderful prepared speech, took 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Smita, again, the amazing speech, took 6 minutes 45 seconds. Neha exceeded the limit though, just by 6 seconds. So I guess that is what it is. Ashish took 40 minutes and 55 seconds. Uh, shit, at 1 minute 31 seconds, I would say. Nandini, 1 minute 35 seconds. Arpit, also 1 minute 36 seconds. Kushal, 2 minute 5 seconds. Guest Rayan, 1 minute 9 seconds. Shravanti, 1 minute 10 seconds. Vikram Singh, 1 minute 29 seconds. Guest Abhishek, 1 minute 59 seconds. Toastmasters Srishti, 2 minute 8 seconds. Swasti, 3 minute 35 seconds. Nandini, with her evaluation, took 1 minute 40 seconds. And Kshitij took 3 minutes and 29 seconds. That would be my report for today. Over to the evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu, for clearly explaining how much each role player has taken the time. Now I'll move on with my general evaluation. And please, a word of disclaimer, this is what I feel, and I don't have any right to generalize how a speech is good or how a speech is bad, because in the end, I can only explain what I feel because I am a human being. Okay, so let's begin. The Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Neha, had a very interactive and jolly introduction as a Sergeant at Arms. She stated the basic objectives of the meeting, the key important points of why we attend Toastmaster meeting, and she also mentioned about the taboo topics. I loved when she took a dig at the president. You know, it shows how connected and friendly all you guys are, and it was really energetic. The president of the club, Toastmaster Abhijit Singh, first of all, when he took off, introduced the guest, he made them feel welcome. He was very humorous. Every word that comes with, like, it will put a smile on our face. I guess it is a gift that he has. And I really applaud the way you approached Toastmasters, because it is something difficult to handle. Because I know when we conducted Toastmasters at our club for the first time, me and one of my friends conducted it, and we were so worried as to how the members will get offended. So as it was the first time, we decided that we will roast some of our close friends only. We seek their permission first. Listen, we're going to say these things about you. Don't feel offended. And that Abhijit also told the importance, or one of the ways in which we can make Roastmasters effective is to seek the permission of the speakers and your perspective as to getting offended easily, because everyone should learn to take everything in a light manner. It's like, other than in special cases, as Abhijit said, like if someone is disabled, like roasting about the disabled, that is not good. But I did see your Roastmaster session on your 250th meeting, and I was very impressed with you guys. Like, kudos to you all. Now, I'll come to the auxiliary role players. Let me start with a timer, Vishnu Bhagat. He explained the purpose of the timer's role. He had a good language, but I felt that he had a lack of energy, could have been a little more energetic. But when it was Abhijit, and from Abhijit, when it went to the timer, I felt there was a sudden drop in the energy. Other than that, he explained the role very well. He clearly spotted the time used by every role players, including the Toastmaster of the day, which is a hard job. And I applaud Toastmaster Vishnu for that. Very well done. Moving on to the arc counter for the day, Toastmaster Rajiv Khanna. I really love the way you brought a novel kind of introduction, comparing static of a voice message to the filler words that are generally used by a speaker. It is true, because if we listen to a voice message and it's full of statics and everything, we don't understand anything. Same goes for filler words. And it grabbed my attention, and I hoped, and I don't know whether it grabbed everyone's attention, but these are the small things we can do to convey the importance of our counter rule. Coming on to his report, great visual presentation. You clearly demarcated the red, yellow, and green, and what the people in the red should do, what people in the yellow should do, what people in the green should do. I really love that. A piece of recommendation for me, when you're saying how many filler words a speaker use, try to classify them as less than 5, between 5 and 10, and maybe more than 10. Because suppose a speaker who's an inexperienced speaker, suppose, use too many filler words. It might go to 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And if he sees 50 around there, he will be like, he might get very demotivated. Someone who's starting, okay? So I would suggest you to classify, less than 5, 5 to 10, speaker, for example, Toastmaster of the day, Abhijit, used more than 5 filler words or more than 10 filler words. And other than that, very good. You clearly paid attention to everyone because you spotted some repetitive words, repetitive sounds. I really love that. It shows your experience. Thank you so much. Moving on to the grammarian, Toastmaster Sakshar. He explained the purpose of what a grammarian is supposed to do. And the word of the day, reminiscence, I love how the word of the day is connected with the theme of the meeting, trip to nostalgia. Good thinking over there. I felt that your introduction was very brief. You just explained your role, you told your word of the day, and you just left. I felt that you could say something more about why there is a grammarian in the meeting, or why the grammarian's role, or how grammar is crucial for spoken English as well as written English. Something like that. Maybe a quote, maybe a funny story, maybe a WhatsApp joke, anything. Okay, something to catch the attention of the speaker. And your report too, I felt it was very brief. When you were giving the count of the word of the day, you said that these speakers use the word of the day. You could have told how many times those speakers use the word of the day so that it would motivate those who are using it. For example, if one speaker used it 5 times and you said it that, okay, this speaker used it 5 times, congrats, he would feel more motivated to use the word of the day in the next meeting. So just keep that in mind. I loved your recommendations, in a nutshell, those corrections. I really like that. It shows that you have been paying attention. Now I'll move on to the joke master, Toastmaster Shweta Gaur. Her jokes was pretty simple. It was relatable to everyday life. I really like that. It made me into a light mood. I had some net issues. Like I felt her net connection was unstable during her joke session, so I couldn't catch some parts of her jokes. But other than that, it was a very light session. Moving on to the prepared speeches, I'm not going to repeat what the speech evaluators has just told, okay, because it will just lead to redundancy. I will feel what I have felt about the speakers. The first speaker, Toastmaster Sagar Duggal. You have good language, good pace of words, and I must say your voice is a gift. Like I can just listen to you. Your voice is so soothing for me. At least that's what I think. Okay, I love your voice. And like Toastmaster Swasti said, you were actually inspiring when you hit one bloke. You stood there, you calmed yourself, and then you went forward. You never gave up. This made me think of a quote by Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But no matter what you do, you have to keep going. And Sagar, that's exactly what you did. Awesome job, man. So now coming on to the second speaker, Toastmaster Smita Verma. She actually has come to my club once for general evaluation role, and I was so happy to see her here as well. Her speech, I can say that because I delivered her same speech with the same project objectives, the different types of communication. And I can say that she did a hell lot of a job better than me because it was really amazing. I loved the way she was in different positions for different friends. She used the entire space to her benefit. And considering that this is a visual platform. So that was a great positive thing about her. Her hand gestures, her pace of words, her language, the content was beautiful. She conveyed her message in the most effective manner, I can say. It was very well delivered speech. Congrats, Toastmaster Smita. The third speaker, Toastmaster Neha Dinkra. It was very interactive speech. I loved that. I loved how you were trying to explain the concept of mentoring by seeking the opinions of others. I really like that, like your evaluator Toastmaster Shittit said. But one thing I felt is that I felt it was too much of interaction because your speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, and I think that you asked 3 people for their opinions, and so that much time is wasted for your content. So maybe you could stick with 1 person, maximum of 2, and focus more on your content. Just what I felt. And I noticed that you were sitting while delivering your speech. I felt like she was sitting. You could stand up, and I know it's considering the virtual platform, it is difficult, but your body just does mean as much as the words come out of your mouth. Okay. If no one wants to see the body gestures, you might as well as turn off your cameras and just say the speech. So your body gestures, your body language, your facial expressions means everything. Your facial expressions were good. If you had stood up, you could have expressed more of your body gestures. And I felt that you were a bit rushing towards the end, maybe because of the time. I don't know. I felt it was like that. Now, after the prepared speeches, we had the table topic session, which was conducted by Toastmaster Ashish Dharyani. And at first and foremost, good job, Ashish, on suggesting everyone to rename themselves and to turn their cameras on. Because I was thinking, like, why was nobody renamed? Is this a practice that you guys have been following or something? But I was glad you spotted that and you told them to rename and to turn on the cameras. Very good. Your topics were awesome in terms of quotes, something that we have to think for a bit. And it had, those topics had a positive vibe. It had a lot to talk about. I really loved it. And one of the most great thing about you is how you commented on each speaker after what they've delivered. It showed that you were listening to their speech and you commented based on what they've spoken. Because most of the table topics after their speech, they'll just move on to the next speaker. You took the time to comment on every speaker. Very well done. And kudos to those who came up voluntarily, like many promptly came up to speak for the table topics. But I felt that you could have avoided calling volunteers for every topic, because the table topics, as you know, is impromptu. And what is impromptu? That is quickly thinking upon your feet. So what makes table topic exciting is that when you give the topic first, you give 10 seconds and everyone would be like, okay, fine, who will he call? Okay, is it me? Is it her? Like there is every chance that I will be called. And then finally I will be called and everyone will be at relief. So that kind of excitement could only be brought forward if you give the topic first and then invite the speakers. But giving volunteers for the first 2 topics is really good. Okay. But it's something which I felt. And I felt that you could have explained the timing rules at the beginning. I know timer may have explained the rules of the table topics, but you could have said that the minimum allotted time is 1 minute, maximum allotted time is 2 minutes. Lights would be shown appropriately. Other than that, your session was really engaging. I loved your session. You were really good. I wished you would have called me for one topic, but you gave preference to those who are not role holders, which was the right approach. Now moving on to the speech evaluators. First speech evaluator was Toastmaster Swasti. She explained the objectives beautifully. One thing I felt that you asked Sagar whether there is anything that you have to note in specific. I felt that you could have asked that before the meeting and not while the meeting. You could talk to Sagar before saying that, is there something that I need to evaluate about you? Okay, and then you can like off the meeting. On the meeting, you just state the project objectives. And coming to your report, I 100% agree with you when you said that Saga speech was an inspiration. More than his content, his speech was inspiration. I felt so much related to that. And you had great, you were listening very closely. I could say that because you spotted great points like his enunciation, his content, and everything. And it was a great critical evaluation. You also offered good critical evaluation as well. Very well done, Toastmaster Swasti. Coming to the second speech evaluator, Toastmaster Nandini Agarwal. She explained the project objectives and then she had a very humorous introduction into her evaluation. She had a very quality evaluation. Whatever came out of her mouth was pure quality. There was nothing wasteful about her evaluation. Everything was pure quality, and I really liked it. One suggestion though is your lack of time. You used only very small amount of time. I think you didn't even wait for the timer to show the green card. I felt that you could have used the entire 2 minutes and 30 seconds, is what I felt. So coming on to the third evaluator, Toastmaster Kshitij Sethi. What I loved about your evaluation, not evaluation, your introduction, was that after you stated the project objectives, you motivated the speaker. You reassured the speaker about the stage fright, that it's okay, you can do this. Like that's the kind of reassurance, because evaluator may be seen as, I don't know, a strict teacher by some speakers. Oh my, like, oh no, he's going to evaluate me, he's going to say bad things about me. But Kshitij, you made her very confident. You were like a friend. I felt that. Okay, I would have you as my speech evaluator anytime. Okay, and coming to your report, a great introduction. It was as if you were giving a prepared speech. I felt like that. You started with a quote, and you was humorous. I really like that. And you also spotted about the involvement of audience, and I completely agree with your points of view as well. And one suggestion is that you said good things and bad things about the speech. Like, I will first say the good things and then I'll say the bad things. Just avoid the use of the word bad. Don't use the word bad. Like if the speaker, yes, as the speaker, oh my God, was my speech bad? Instead of using the word bad, just say, okay, there are some areas for improvement which the speaker could focus upon. Okay, maybe focus on that. Great content. And I noticed that you entered your report with recommendation. It is always better to end your report on a good note, on something positive, so that the speaker too will be positive after the report. It's what I felt. And something which was missing in all the evaluators was the evaluation summary. Towards the end, towards the 30 seconds or 10 seconds, maybe just summarize what you've told in the past 2 minutes in your evaluation, so that it can be a mind refresher to all of you. Okay. And now coming to the hero of the day, it is none other than Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhijit Singh. First of all, your theme, a trip to nostalgia, like I mentioned in my introduction, was very good. And I liked how you were carrying that theme throughout the meeting. I felt I've seen many Toastmasters who would just say about their theme in the introduction and they will just get on with their meeting like any normal meetings. But you told stories in between about your meeting, like this journey, about the Kulla tea, and you asked the audience about the experiences you had on your train. And I love the way you, after your introduction speech, you came on to the timers. Okay, like you said, I don't quite remember what you said. Like we have to, like we need to enjoy the train journey very, in a comfort manner. And similarly, while giving your speech, to make you in a comfort manner, we have the hour counter. Like you had a smooth transition from the theme to explaining the role holders. I really love that. Okay. And one thing I felt is that while you were introducing the role players, I felt you could have told a bit more about the said role players. Okay, if you're introducing the hour counter Toastmaster Rajiv, you can say something, a 2 sentence, 1 or 2 sentences about Rajiv, maybe about his personality, maybe about how he is in a Toastmaster. Okay, I felt that you called, like we have the hour counter Toastmaster Rajiv over to Toastmaster Rajiv. Maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, that's just what I felt. And I noticed that you didn't call the timers report after the prepared speeches and table topics. Like, is it how it's done here? Okay, like you call the everything is set towards the end. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, and one other thing is that you involved all of the members. You share your experiences. Come on, let me see what you think about the trip to nostalgia. Love the way you involve the audience, but time management is one of the key things a Toastmaster meeting teaches us, apart from improving our communication and soft skills, right? That is the main reason why we prepare an agenda. Okay, prepare speaker this time. Okay, our counter, your introduction, you have this much time. Okay, evaluation, you have this much time. And the meeting should end at this time. I felt even though you were trying to involve everyone, we were way behind the schedule, mostly because of that. I noticed that as per agenda, the table topic session was supposed to start by 7:30, but the actual table topic session started by 7:55. So that's like 25 minutes behind. Okay. So even though I appreciate how you try to involve the audience, the next time, keep in mind how much time that you can invest while you're calling upon a role player, okay, or while you're giving an introduction. Okay, that's just one thing. And other than that, I loved every aspect of your meeting, man. Like it was too good. Okay. And to not gonna bore you more, just gonna wind it up. So overall, the meeting had a perfect structure. The meeting had great speakers, great evaluators. You all have so much potential. And I have learned so much from this meeting. And I especially thank the VP Education, Toastmaster Pragya, for thinking of me for giving the general evaluators role. It has indeed been an honor. So thank you so much, and over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, General Evaluator Rajat. Thank you for your kind and very apt evaluation of our meeting today. And that is true that we have run short of time and we were running to catch it up. And thank you for doing your role right in apt amount of time. Now I would hand it over the stage to the president of Toastmasters, of Capital City Toastmasters. Thank you. Thank you guys. Again, it's me taking the stage for the day, for the last time today. So the guys' voting list is out. I would request everyone to please vote for the specific role players in that category. Okay, now I would like to take the guest feedback while people end up voting in the background. I would request guest Disha to give her feedback, how she felt about the meeting today.
Okay, thank you, Abhijit. So I really enjoyed the meeting, and I was a little apprehensive before that. Maybe it's a virtual setup, so like there won't be much interaction, and maybe it'll get boring. But it was not boring at all. It was very exciting. Like from the train journey to like listening to the speeches and the table topics, it was all very exciting, and I really got to learn a lot. Like I got to know about the new words, and you know, through the evaluations that the evaluators gave, I could actually relate. Like if I was speaking there, I was like the speaker. So for me also, those evaluations, you know, they will be helpful. Like in the future, if I ever go for a public speech, so it was very helpful, and I really enjoyed the session. So thank you, like for letting me be a part of this.
Thanks, Disha. Thanks, guest Disha, for your wonderful feedback. Now, I would like to request guest Sravanti to give her feedback.
So the session was so great. I really enjoyed it, especially because there are a lot of people with different ages. And I don't know, last time I attended the club, I think it is some special event. So I thought of attending it again to know how it works regularly. And I see a lot of energy within the team. I just love it.
Thanks, guest Sravanti. I would like to request guest Ryan to give your feedback.
Yeah, so this is my second meeting in this club, and I'm really liking this club, and uh, the whole energy me and other people to to get engaged and learn from their own mistakes. So yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Now, I would request guest Abhishek to give your feedback.
Hi everyone. So it was a really very great meeting, and really got to learn a lot of new things. Very good this thing theme of the day, nostalgic and train journey. So actually I joined late, so I missed the starting session because of office commitment. For me, the train journey is really very short. Every Sunday 9 a.m. I used to catch a train from Andheri to Bandra to attend my Toastmaster meeting. That is Mumbai Toastmaster Club. That is, I think, one of the largest Toastmaster clubs. The journey was really not long. I was there for 6 months before I moved to Delhi. And now I'm planning to restart my journey, so to learn a lot of new things from everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
I would request guest Vikram to share his feedback.
Hello everyone. Your train journey was fantastic and I enjoyed a lot, and it reminiscence my journey when I went to Amritsar when I was a child. Actually, I have traveled very less in trains. That is why I was not able to participate at that time. So yes, it was wonderful and I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you, Vikram. Yes, Vikram. Anyone else that I have missed? A guest? Any feedback I have not taken from any of the guests? Have I covered everyone?
Yes. Did you get Darshan?
Darshan, did you?
No.
Oh, no. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv, for pointing it out. I would request guest Darshan to give his feedback on the meeting today. Darshan, you're on mute right now.
Thank you, sir. Sir, first of all, I would like to say sorry for leaving the group many times today. And I enjoyed a lot of the meeting, and I hope it will help me to improve my English and public speaking also. Thank you.
Thank you, Darshan. So, Nandini, I just wanted to check with you, what's the status with the voting?
Yeah, I think majority of the people have voted, so we can go ahead with the result.
Oh, perfect. I would request Toastmaster Nandini to please to announce the winners.
Yeah, just a second.
While she takes her time, I would wanted to say a few things today. As I started the meeting, I mentioned a few things about the celebration meeting. But one thing that I wanted to mention was the Toastmasters, the meetings as such have a bit of its censorship that goes on. But on the other hand, CCT as a club, we really request our members to open up and speak about a lot of things, not just limited to the club or to the Toastmasters, but in all sphere of life. So I would want to say that is never feel that you have been censored, or never feel as if that you should not speak up. Whatever you feel like you want to say something in any occasion, please speak up. So that's my 2 cents again. And I would like to hand over the stage to Nandini. Thank you.
So, any guesses who is the best table topic speaker?
Kushal. Toastmaster Kushal was wonderful.
Yeah, you guys are right. It's Toastmaster Kushal. Congratulations, Toastmaster Kushal. Moving on to the auxiliary role players. Guess who stole the stage today?
One and only, none other than.
It's like I didn't vote for myself. Keeping an eye on everything. He knows the results already. So it's none other than our NRI friend, Toastmaster Rajiv. Congratulations, Toastmaster Rajiv.
Did she just call me NRI, guys?
Moving on to the best evaluator. Clearly, it was Toastmaster Kshitij. Congratulations, Kshitij. Now, moving on to the best speaker. Any guesses?
Smita.
Yeah, it was the Red Rose Girl, Toastmasters Smita. Congratulations, Smita. Now the best role player. I don't think we need to guess. The
This was
guy who
difficult,
brought
but
back all the memories of the Indian Railways, none other than our president, Toastmaster Abhijit.
well done.
Congratulations, Abhijit.
Thank you.
So that was the result. I hand over the stage back to the president. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you. With today's meeting, Toastmaster Neha, who has completed her level 2 with her project 3 speech delivered today, she has completed her level 2. So a round of applause for Toastmaster Neha. So with that, there's another announcement that I wanted to make. We are planning to have an offline meeting, an unofficial offline meeting, where we will just gather all the people who are in Delhi and meet together. So the tentative date is 1st of August. Please stay tuned on your WhatsApp channel to know what the details of the meetings would be. And I would request all the guests to be in touch with the VP membership, as she will inform you the details on that. And with that, I, President of Capital City Toastmaster Abhijit Singh, end the meeting number 251. Thank you.
Yay.